In this video, we're going to go through how to use Cloudberry Explorer. You can get it at cloudberrylab.com. I like to use Cloudberry Explorer because it is much more powerful and it's really a lot easier to use. It's like a familiar interface if you've used some sort of an FTP client. So go to cloudberrylab.com and then go over and download for free. Okay, so just download it and install it here. Okay, so you just go through the wizard, agree to the terms. Very simple. Okay, we're going to run it. So let's open it up. Okay, now at this point you can register it. If you don't want to register it right now, you can just do register later. Okay, this is what Cloudberry looks like, and if you've uploaded files to your server before, then you recognize the layout is something like an FTP client, and that's really how it works. So what we want to do is we want to go and set up our Amazon Web Services account. So go to File, and we'll go to Amazon S3 account. And then we're going to click on New Account and Add. Okay, so now what we need to do is set up our display name, access key, and secret key. Now you can go and get that from your Amazon account. So what we want to do is go back to our account here. Go to Security Credentials. Okay, now when you get to this page, you'll see here Access Credentials. So if you click on that, it brings you down, and here's our access keys. Okay, so access key ID. We'll grab this and back over to Cloudberry. Okay, so we can give this a display name. This is just for our use, so I'm going to call it My S3. Okay, and then we'll paste our access key in here. Okay, now we have to go get our secret key. So you just click here where it says Show, and then Copy. And we'll close that up. And then back, put in the secret key here. Whether you want to use Secure Socket Layer, this is Secure Connection. Now next thing you should do is test your connection and make sure that it's correct. Okay, we got connection successful, so we know that we set that up correctly. Okay, and here's my S3 account. Okay, so let's close. Now what we want to do is connect up to our Amazon S3 account. Okay, so we have my computer on this side and this side. Let's change this side. We're going to go to my S3. Okay, so as you can see, here are our buckets. So we click in here. Let's go in. As you see, everything's here. And if we right click, we got some new options in here. But let's just go to Web URL and let's open the link. And here is our picture as well. So we can do all of the same things from within Cloudberry Explorer. Okay, now on this side we can just navigate on our computer where it is we want to find our files. Let's go up a level here. Let's create a new bucket. Okay, so you just go up here to bucket and then you give it a bucket name. So we're going to go with our naming convention. So glob dash glob dash, and then we'll just say new private stuff. Now you notice here that storage class, we can't change it, so we have to use standard storage class unless we get the pro version. We can't use the reduced redundancy unless you log in, or unless you buy the upgraded version or log into your panel. Okay, so now let's go to our bucket and let's right click now. Now we have something called ACL settings. These ACL settings are our settings for privacy. Now, rather than make this all users available, let's make this authenticated users. Click OK. So now the public would not be able to look at anything in here. Okay, now let's upload a picture into our secured area here, into our private content. So I'm going to go find my pictures on this side. Okay, so let's pick this one, and then we can either copy it or move it. And we're going to, of course, we need to get inside the bucket first. So inside the bucket, let's pick this. So we want to copy it. Okay, and it's uploading it for us. Okay, now if we right click on this and go to ACL settings, you'll see that the content picks up the same ACL settings that the bucket is set to, as your security settings. So now if we go here, we're going to go to web URL, and then we're going to give it a secure URL. So what we want to do is use HTTPS. And then if we're going to send this content to somebody, what we want to do is give it a time limit. So this link would now only work for an hour. So now this link will be able to access that picture. Let's just put the URL in here. Okay, and there's the picture in our secured area. But the public would not be able to get at this if we just go back here and we open this link. Okay, that is what the public would get, and access denied. Okay, so we'll close that. Let's go back up to the root. Okay, so basically you can do all the same stuff in Cloudberry Explorer that you can do in the control panel, but it's a little more familiar of an interface having it look like the FTP client that you're using to upload files anyway. Okay, so you got all the other things in here, ACL, our bucket policy. Okay, you can do a security assessment. It'll just run through and tell you if you have anything that is a potential security hole. You can expire the object. There's all kinds of things in here, but you get this idea. We still have the web URL, the website URL. If you want to make it into a website, you put your index page in there. Okay, so basically you can do all the same things you can do in here that you can do on the control panel. Okay, so if you go to properties, you can do the same things again in here. We have our permissions. You can set logging. Okay, you can set request or pay, so whoever is on the requesting end would have to pay the cost of the request for the data download. Versioning, you can turn versioning on and off for your files, so if you upload a new one or it changes, you have different versions on there. Okay, this is an advanced option that you have to pay for. There's your website and CloudFront, which we're not talking about right now. Okay, so basically it works just like that. You can manipulate your buckets here. You can delete. You can do many of the things right up here. Okay, you don't have to actually go and do a right click. Okay, now you'll see here something called external bucket. An external bucket is a bucket belonging to another account. So if you have permission to access another bucket, this is where you can set it up. So you just put the path in here. Okay, we don't have that in this case, but I just wanted to point that out, that you can work with external buckets in here as well. Okay, so now that we know how to get our buckets created and how to get our data into the buckets and how to set the permissions, what we need to do is be able to access that data for our websites. So we're going to go over that in the next video.